Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you guys a recreation of a look I seen on Instagram. So to start out, I've already got my makeup done and I'm going to go in with a coal black liner from Essence and I'm going to start mapping out my design. So I'm going off a picture here which is pretty much the recreation that I made, and I found it on Instagram. I thought it was really inspiring, so I had to do a tutorial for you guys. What I'm doing at the moment is mapping out the shape of the skull, and I wanted it to be really rough around the edges and not perfect at all, so I'm just mapping that out with where the teeth are going and the nose as well. After I've roughly mapped out my design, I'm then going in with my Wolf FX paints, and I'm taking the white colour and just a smaller paintbrush, and I'm going to start layering that over my lips. Now I'm going to give it 2 to 3 coats on my lips just to really ensure that they're blocked out and they blend well with my face, because they're supposed to be teeth of course. And then I'm just going to paint the entire portion that I've marked out pretty much. So while the face is drying, I'm going to move on to the neck area, and I would honestly make this a tiny bit bigger next time if I'm going to recreate this tutorial again. So yeah, I would suggest making it a little bit larger than what I did, and then just fill in that whole area with the white as well. So then I'm going to go in with a very fine brush and the black coloured paint, and I'm going to just start mapping out my teeth. Now I wanted this to be slightly realistic, so I'm going to go in and mark the centre of my lips, and then to the left of that I'm going to slightly mark it out again. Because we have 2 large front teeth and then 3 small bottom ones, that's always something that I've been picky about whenever I do skull tutorials with like proper teeth. But yeah, then I'm just going to give you guys a nice close-up and extend my smile, and of course I'm just going to keep filling in the teeth. So also another tip is when you're doing around your lips, the paint tends to blotch in areas when you're trying to do straight lines. Don't stress, wait for it to just completely dry, and then you can go around the edges and make it thinner with a white paint. After I've done that, I then just go in and fill in the bottom of the teeth and give them a nice round curve. Then I'm moving on to the nose. I started out with my traditional Day of the Dead shaped nose, and then I slightly started to fill it in and build it up to this really misshaped, kind of almost cracked nose. I wanted this skull look to be very shady and very cracked everywhere, so then I'm going to go in and start to re-outline the border of my face. Now I wanted to make this a lot more curvier than it already was, so you can just go ahead and do that any way that you like. After I've done that, I'm going to go in and do the whole chin area and really carve that out as well and define it to give it a really nice shape. So then I'm going to be taking that thin brush again, and I'm just going to outline the border of the bandana, so kind of where it finishes up underneath my eyes. And of course you can do this any shape or any size, which is always really good as well. And if you want, you can go ahead and add that little bit of extra detail at the end to make it nice and crinkled like a real bandana would look. Then I'm just going to go in and start painting on the spinal cord or the throat area, or whatever, you guys know what I mean. And yeah, I'm just going to draw little circles and then little bones attaching from those out to my neck, which isn't probably correct at all, but I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? So now I'm just going to go in and add those nice little cracks in little areas that I thought needed them. And I'm also going to draw in the jawline, which is from the teeth, and it attaches up into the side of the mask. I always like to do that just because it gives it a nice area of shading later on. Then I'm going to go in and start misshaping that nose and giving it cracks like I also said previously. And you can kind of do this however you want, but you don't want to go too crazy with the nose. You want to kind of keep it tamed in a cracked kind of way. Then after that I'm going to start filling in all of the black areas with that larger brush. And as I said earlier, I definitely would have done the neck just the tiniest bit bigger so it really filled up the main sides of my neck, but then again it doesn't really matter, I'm not too stressed about it. And you can kind of just give a nice little wavy effect because you don't want this whole thing to be too perfect anyways. So after I was done with that, I'm going to start filling in that little jawbone area that I said that attaches to the teeth as well, and you want to just make that kind of fade into the teeth. After I've got all the block colours down, I'm then going to go in with shading, and I definitely think that shading brings it to life, but block colours do also look really good as well if you're into block colours. So I'm going to just go in with a matte black and lightly shade underneath my teeth. Of course I'm going to give it a gradient, so it's going to be extremely dark right up where the teeth end, and then I'm going to just lightly fade it out as I get onto the chin and jawline area. And I'm just going to repeat this step with the top teeth as well, and I'm kind of just going to give it an all over shading sort of thing, and I'm going to bring that up onto the top of the bandana as well, and I'm going to kind of disperse the edges because I didn't want this look to be clean and I wanted it to be very smoky and just really nice. So I'm going in with a fluffy brush and I'm going to really just buff that out just to give it that extra smoky look. Then going in with that fine tipped brush again and the black paint, I'm going to just really lightly apply a little bit of colour onto the teeth because I don't want them as white, but I don't want to use the shadow to shade it because it would just give it that weird look, I personally think anyways. Then after that I'm going to just go above the teeth because I felt like they needed that little bit of extra darkness right up where they meet the face, and then I'm just going to shade underneath the teeth as well. Then going in with that fluffy brush again, I'm just going to really buff out the edges and make them not so sharp and not so blocked, just to make the whole look really smoky. And I'm also going to smoke out the sides of the nose, a little bit on the chin, and of course the throat area. So I'm just going to put a little circle in between each of the painted on circles that I've drawn, and then I kind of just lightly dusted it over the other bones just to give it a little bit of general shading. I wasn't focusing too much on the neck. Then I'm going to go in with a white and I'm going to add some detail and highlighting onto the teeth. Just because we added that black, I wanted to make them kind of dingy, but you don't want lines in them as we've previously painted. Then I'm just going to go in and add highlights to the cracks and to the center of the nose as well. Then going in with that black yet again and the fine brush yet again, I'm going to just now clean up that nose, and I like to give it just a little bit of a ripple down each side. Then I just pop a little bit of dots in between it and it kind of breaks up the white, but it still gives it like that cracked effect. I don't know, I've been doing that recently with a few of my skull looks. Then after that I'm just going to put a little bit on the throat area because I feel like it's just that tiny bit bare. You can kind of just wing it like I did. I didn't really have any sort of a plan when I did the throat, to be honest. So this is the part of the tutorial where I would usually pop in my contacts, but I didn't have any because my white contact lenses are out of date pretty much. So now I'm just going to go in with a large fluffy brush and darken up my makeup just to make it that little bit more dramatic. But other than that, guys, that is the completed tutorial. I really feel like this is a nice and simple yet really awesome look because it's got a lot of gore and it still has the glamorous eyes. So I hope you all enjoyed the tutorial. Please don't forget to give my video a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. If you guys try out any of my looks or recreate anything even similar, please tag me on Instagram. I would just absolutely love to see it. And I've also just recently created a Facebook page. If you're on Facebook, you can go ahead and give that a thumbs up for behind the scenes stuff. So take care, guys, and I'll see you all on my next video. Bye.